I hope y'all are doing well. I hope my timing isn't off, but better late than never. Damn that Aries full moon. Damn that Aries full moon. Am I the only one who's like that Aries full moon? Oh man, it's just getting the blame for everything. I'm gonna start this out saging. I see some people are joining in. This is awesome. Or either that or I'm just, old lady vision. There we go. People are coming in. Good to see y'all. We're gonna sage. Okay, we got to sage. You know why? Because that's just the motto lately. Keep saging. Keep saging. All right. Because my God, it's like, what the hell is going on? That I want y'all to share your stories in the comments in the live chat, and let me know how that full moon in Aries hit you on the 20th. That was wild. God, that was wild. And I think that what made it so spicy was how it was aspecting Pluto and Mars. There were squares going on with that, right? Golly. I mean, not all full moons are created equal. Not all full moons in Aries are created equal, right? That's had some extra spice because of the Mars and Pluto energy. So yeah, we need to sage this place. Oh, and one more thing. If you're tired of content creators on YouTube asking you to hit the like button, then hit the like button. I'd hit the like button because I'm tired of telling people to hit the like button, so I'll hit the like button just for that. But anyway, let me know how y'all are doing. I see somebody did hit the like button. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Very generous to hit the like button. All right. God, it's getting crazy out there. It's getting crazy out there. So, yeah, the full moon in Aries, think back to what was going on earlier this year, April 11th, because there might have been some connection. We had Pluto direct in Capricorn, and Pluto was squaring Mars and the moon. So it was like emotional, it was intense, and I talked about it in my video that I put out on, the astrology for this month of October, which, by the way, I'm going to put out another one, God willing. I'll get it out this next weekend for the astrology in November, because we're just spicing up, okay? This is just the beginning, right? Like I told y'all, we're coming into eclipse season. And so we've got an eclipse in November, an eclipse in December, and I think there's also going to be a new moon November 5th, and that's in Scorpio. Holy shit. That's going to be a lot of dealing with your shadow side, dealing with hidden aspects of yourself, things that maybe make you feel vulnerable. And so, yeah, new moons are new beginnings, and we just had a full moon. Full moons are culminations. But I'm seeing like some carryover from October to November with these lunar energies, where it's a lot about relationships. Sweet Jesus, right? Because when we had that full moon in Aries, that was opposite the sun in Libra. So a lot about partnerships, relationships, the me versus we. And hey, good to see you. Wazy, I think, God help my vision, my old lady vision, who he or she is saying, we world need a new beginning. Things are stagnating, not in a good. Yes, I agree. We do, but I mean, with this energy, it's like, okay, the new beginning that's coming up for us next. I mean, after we just had that explosive ending, culmination in Aries, we got this new moon coming in with this like really transformative, intense, plutonic yet again. I mean, this is what I would say about that. We just had plutonic energy. I mean, it's just like explosion upon explosion. And you know, it's like, okay, that was some fiery energy with Aries, and then you add the squares involving Pluto, Mars, and the moon. It was just so intense. And then we have more of that plutonic intensity coming up again with the new moon on November 5th. And then you add to that later that month when we have the full moon, which let me pull up when that is. That's not just the full moon, that's an eclipse. So something getting eclipsed out. Yeah, let me kind of skip ahead. I'm looking at October stuff here. But it's just like buckle up, people. And I mean, I know I said I talked about this in very general terms in my video that I put out for the October astrology, but I'll be honest with you, like, I didn't understand the kick in the ass that was going to come with that full moon. I mean, I knew, like, basically, okay, it's going to be intense, transformative, blah, 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 but right, some of y'all already know, I got into a car accident with my daughter on the 20th, the day of the full moon. And for those of you who don't know, right, that was full moon in Aries, and Aries is, you know, ruled by Mars, god of war. It's aggression, it's frustration, anger, rage, assertion, individuality, sexual tension, a lot of, oh my God, did y'all notice all the sexual energy? Whoo! Oh. And then you add Pluto in there, just like amps up all the fire energy, and brings about this transformation. So, you know, getting back into what's up ahead, you know, there's more of this plutonic energy. So yeah, and I'm gonna say for y'all, you know, if you're trying to like understand how this applies to you, if you're trying to make sense of what happened, look at your natal chart. Look at where, which house this moon was transiting at the time of the full moon, okay, on the 20th. I just had a client, by the way, yesterday, and I'm not going to get into details about her. You know, I respect the confidentiality and everything, but she had it really rough. And in her natal chart, her moon is in Aries. So this was right on her moon, this lunar energy. And it was like, and I think, you know, several times during the reading, I almost started crying, and I didn't even know, because like this is a part, as an empath, you know, sometimes it's difficult, especially with all my Pisces energy. Sometimes it's difficult for me to discern my emotional energy from other people's emotional energy. And because, you know, I had been impacted so significantly during that full moon, I was doing her reading, and I started, like, probably about 3 times during the reading, I started getting overcome with tears. And I'm like, is this me? Because I was going through a hard time. Even though I had saged and prayed and cleared the space, you know, and I was totally focused on her, it's like 3 times in the reading it came up that I wanted to cry. And she messaged back to say, yeah, that she had been crying a lot. So I was definitely tuning into her energy. But that's the thing, you know, I mean, you gotta not only look at what house is being transited, because that will tell you where the ending was. That'll help you to understand what ended. But also look at the planet, right? So for her, with it being, you know, a lunar energy right on top of her lunar energy, which is your emotional your emotional nature is the moon, right? It was causing a lot of tears, a lot of emotion to come up for her about endings and culminations. And I will say for me, I'm going to say with this full moon in Aries, all the theatrics that I saw were involving 2 Aries sun people and 1 Aries rising person. And it was triggering all my natal placements in Aries of, Juno in Aries and Chiron in Aries. So, and I'm going to say collectively also, Chiron is now in Aries. So if you're like me and you're a 70s baby, it's very likely that this was like really hitting on your Chiron, okay? As it was for me. And for those of you who don't know astrology, well, what's Chiron? Okay, Chiron is your soul wound. What you are born here with, you carry with it throughout your life, and you're here to heal it within yourself so that you can bring healing to others. And Chiron, and particularly this soul wound in Aries is about your sense of self, your self-worth. And so for all of us collectively, I think that at some level we were getting a hit on self-worth issues, but most definitely those of us who are the 70s babies and were born during Chiron, we have that in our natal charts. Chiron and Aries, man, it was just like right on top of it, just triggering all kinds of deep soul wounds that you've had throughout your life. So it was intense to say the least. And I'm sorry to say that I don't think it's going to lighten up. I think that the new moon coming up and on the, when is it, the 5th of November, that new moon in Scorpio, more intensity. And then you get into, when is that? Oh, the 19th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus on the 19th. So that's another ending, another culmination. And in Taurus, it might have to do with, again, these self-worth issues getting triggered, values, possessions, material. It might have to do with your personal income, something coming to an end, and in terms of how you personally earn a living, or which would totally make sense if we're looking at the grand scheme of things collectively, of people dealing with all of these mandates and whatnot that are going on. So I'm gonna make me something to drink, something hot. But yeah, go on and comment. Y'all are being really quiet tonight. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna say, with all the energy that went down, I for a good few days there, like, I felt like I got the words kicked out of me, which is a rarity. I mean, it's bad when Aquarius can't find their words, and for damn sure Mercury in Aquarius, which is like, I could write you a novel. We could have a whole PowerPoint presentation, but with this particular lunar energy, my God, I couldn't find my words for a few days. I just totally knocked out of me. So, I don't know if that's what's going on with you, why y'all are so quiet tonight. But, and let me say real quickly, that I have a meetup tomorrow night, and usually the last Thursday of the month, I have been trying to do the astrology meetups, but I've since decided that I'm going to do tarot over there. So if you're local and you're planning to meet up with me, I'm not going to do the astrology over there. I'm doing the tarot, because I don't think anybody's going to be really disappointed by that, because it seems that that's more popular as the tarot. And I'm going to just go on and move all the astrology onto my channel. So people who want to hear about the astrology, they can watch the video anytime. people who are meeting up locally in want tarot, which seems to be more popular in person. Well, I'll be there as usual doing tarot, astrology online. So I'm hoping, by the way, to ramp up doing more stuff online, especially as we get into the winter months. I've got like one more festival to do locally, and then, you know, it's gonna probably slow down what I'm doing offline and in person, and then I'll ramp up more of my work on here. But anyway, okay, so getting back to, you know, what's going on with the energy, I think a lot of us this particular month have had a spotlight. There's been a spotlight collectively on relationships, self versus others. And, oh, I could tell you some crazy stories. I don't know where to begin. And some things I can't tell you because of privacy issues, you know, but let me read. We've got another comment here. Wazy35 is saying maybe the devil we know is better than the devil we don't. Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's long been my issue, Wazy. It's funny you say that because I was just talking to a girlfriend of mine the other day about that, and I told her, I said, like, that's one of the problems I think Taurus has. And I'm a Taurus rising, right? So I've been faulted for that. But this this full moon in Aries really pushed me to shake things up. Really pushed me to shake things up like never before, because, you know, I've had enough instability in my life, and I really don't like that. But things have been stagnant for me for so long that I've gotten into this mind frame of, oh, well, just, you know, hell. What do I have to do to get some change here? I guess I'm going to have to go do something off the wall. And I have. I'm going to share with y'all, I met an Aries. Oh, yes. And those of y'all who don't know, my Juno is in Aries. So I love Aries. But my Chiron is also in Aries. So it's like, I talked to y'all last time we went live. I talked to you about how that's like it's kind of rough, you know. It's like this person who is like your ideal life partner, there's always some kind of woundedness surrounding them. And so but I met this Aries, and he's definitely a person that shakes things up. And he took me out on the full moon in Aries. We actually sat out, and like we sat outside looking at the moon. It was really cool. But before we did that, he took me to a building. I could tell you about that. It scared the crap out of me. I'm like, dude, I don't know you. Like, this was a really, if y'all want to hear this story, I'll tell you the story, okay? But let me know, and then I'll tell you if you're interested, okay? But about going out on the full moon in Aries and how he scared me. But anyway, he pushes my limits. He pushes my limits, and I've been learning a lot from him. I think that he's in my life for a time and a season to help me maybe break out of some molds and to overcome some things and to heal some things. And it's really been, actually, it's been positive. It's been really positive. So, oh, hey, Scorpio Butterfly, good to see you. Oh my goodness. How's it going with your hot jalapeno stick? You gotta update me. How's that going? Anything spicy going on? And we're getting into Scorpio season. It's about to get deep. It's about to get dark. It's about to get intense. By the way, this Aries that I'm telling y'all about, he's got a Scorpio rising. It's intense. This dude is intense. But yeah, y'all gotta talk to me. I see more people are coming in. That's lovely. And what else should I tell y'all? Oh, about all these relationships and stuff. My gosh, relationships really getting highlighted with everything that went on around that. It's in some way it harkens back to relationships. Where do, like, me versus other people, where do I fit in here? And redefining relationships. And you know what, I'm gonna tell you also, I started talking to my ex again, which is like this is some Twilight Zone shit. Like, what happened? Are we in an alternate reality? What's going on here? So, but he's been behaving himself consistently over the last going on 6 months, and he's been working the program as far as reconciling with family. So I've been talking to him, and we talk good. We've always talked really good. But he made some very interesting points about how relationships now are so different from when he and I were dating, like back in the early 80s, early 90s. Yeah, I'm not that old. Early 90s. We were seeing each other when we first met, and he made some interesting points that, you know, so many people are out of alignment right now with their calling, their life purpose, destiny, that what's happening is that we're getting a lot of misaligned relationships, people finding love in strange, odd places where, like, ordinarily people would not have even, right? Like this new Aries emit, I'm just full confession, y'all, the guy's significantly younger than me. And I argued with him, like, I don't think this is gonna work out. He's very persistent. Y'all know how Aries is, like a ram. You know, keep going, keep going. But yeah, I mean, he's younger than me, and ordinarily I would just be like, nah, nah, nah. But you know, the men my age are not available. They're not, you know, they're either married or, I mean, they're in a commitment, you know, and they're not going to leave it. And so I'm like, well, you know, what do we have to do here? I've been waiting around for the quote right person for 6 years since my divorce, and the right person never seems to come along. And so I don't know, I'm at a breaking point where I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna do wrong. In fact, it was funny because one night we were talking and laughing. I said, what are we doing? What are we doing? And he said, making mistakes, with a big Kool-Aid grin. And I laughed at him. I said, bingo, bingo, we're making mistakes. But it's like, you know, this is where we're at in relationships. So many people are out of alignment right now within themselves. And so then to get in a partnership that is in alignment, like, how do you do that when so many people are in at an individual level out of alignment? And I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you straight up, like, he and I are compatible in certain respects, right? Which has its limits. Okay. I'm not going to, you fill in the blank, you figure it out. He and I are compatible in certain respects. But if I saw him on a dating app, I would definitely not, right? I would not think this is somebody I should be partnering with. If I just look at it on paper, I'd be like, nope. But in person, it's like, well, maybe for now it works. Maybe for a time in a season it works, you know? Let me see. Oh, Scorpio Butterfly saying, no, still wishing and waiting. I know, girl. These men. Scorpio Butterfly, you know, has a hot jalapeno stick. And I think some of you ladies out there know what we're talking about. She's had her sights on a hot jalapeno stick. And you know, when you get my age, it's rare. It's rare to find one of those. Very rare. So you want to just grab them when you can. But Let's see. Oh, we have Angel here. Thanks for joining. Gemini woman and Aries man, worst relationship. I'm living it now. Okay, I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm not Gemini, I'm Aquarius, fellow air sign, right? Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the air and the fire. And by the way, I imagine this full moon in Aries really set some shit off in your life. Being in a relationship with an Aries, okay? Um, but here's the thing. With the air and fire, it is like what we do is we, as air signs, we breathe air, oxygen into that fire, and it's like it gets bigger. We feed their fire, we feed the flame, is what happens. And unfortunately, if you're dealing with an Aries who's not very mature, not very evolved, self-aware, hasn't done that kind of work on themselves, they can get right, they can get explosive, they can get into fits of rage. I mean, it's drama city. I mean, I was with an Aries for 2 years before I met my ex-husband, who I, ended up marrying and having kids with. And my God, it was just on fire. It was like, man, you could like burn down the bedroom with this guy, but God help you not to burn down the rest of the house, And it's just, they've got to learn how to, this is in my opinion, just air sign female dealing with Aries male. They have to learn how to control that passion. There's a good use for it and a bad use for it. Obviously, the good use is very passionate in the bedroom. I mean, unless they got some other weird shit going on in their chart. Generally speaking, I've not met an Aries that is not passionate, and that's what I love about them. But then outside the bedroom, like, can they control themselves because they're the child of the zodiac? I mean, that's really the downside. So good luck on you, being with an Aries. I kind of understand there's pros and cons to it. Okay, so we have somebody else here saying, Crown, do you have Instagram? I do. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Pinterest. I haven't really been on Pinterest and lately. Where else do I post? I used to be on Vimeo. I'm not on there anymore. I have an Etsy shop, but I'm not really active on the Etsy shop. You can buy my sage spray over there if y'all are interested in that, but I'm not really active over there. My political content, as many of you know, I can get so damn political. I think it's because most of my chart is in the 10th house, which has a lot to do with the government. 10th house, so like I'm really into politics, and I know there's a lot of people who follow this channel just for the spiritual content. So it's hard for me to not get into politics because that's authentically who I am, even though a lot of my viewers don't want to hear about it. So I try to put my political content mostly over on Twitter. And if you want to find my political content on Twitter, for those interested, oh, and I just recently joined, I've been on gab.com where I have political content, and I recently joined Getter. But Twitter, I am at Warrior Woman. Oh, look, that went off the page. 212. Well, you get the idea. I hope you do. Okay. Warrior Woman 212. Like, if y'all want to, if y'all ever want to like connect with me on that, on the political content. And I'm pretty active on there usually, but I'm just telling you, the last week and a half with that full moon in Aries, it just derailed me. I'm kind of even honestly out of the loop on the political content, and whatever I have been watching is kind of like I don't feel comfortable talking about it because it's just random stuff here and there, and I haven't really been able to fully sit with it and give it my attention because what's been going on in my personal life and with the astrology and blah blah blah. But generally speaking, like I could rattle off for days about that. And this guy I met, by the way, side note, polar opposite. We have totally different political views, but what is so cool is I watch some of his content and then he watches some of mine, and we challenge each other. And it's pretty refreshing because we don't agree with each other, but we don't get mad. I love that. We really enjoy the banter, and I'll tease him back and forth, and he'll tease me. And so it's fun. It's actually like this is refreshing to be around somebody who doesn't agree with you, and it's okay. You're cool with it, and you still like each other, and so I'm enjoying that. Some of you might not appreciate my political banter, but hey. Okay, let's see. Angel said, I'm glad that someone else noticed. You're so accurate. My Aries is very immature. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, the beautiful thing about Aries being the child of the zodiac, which is healing and refreshing to me. I'm a very serious soul, very. And Aries has a way of bringing an innocence and a lightheartedness, and I love that about Aries. Aries also, I don't often live in the now because with all my Aquarius placements, I'm future, future, future. Or because I was born during Mercury retrograde, I'm in the past. I'm in the past. But very rarely am I in the now. I mean, I can do it, all right? But Aries has a way of helping me break that and get in the now and lighten up but what pains me about Aries is that when I want them to get serious and sober up and think about the future, they are very resistant. And it's kind of rough because I think that I think that I can relate to Aries, but sometimes Aries has trouble relating to me, and that's definitely a pain point. Like if they're not very verbal, and I'm so freaking verbal, and and I think I exhaust them with my talking and my thinking, and but I can get into their zone, but can they get into mine? Because you know it's kind of a zodiac thing. I see a lot of messages getting retracted, and I'm not sure what that's about, and I'm not doing it. So y'all are basically, I don't know if you're saying something that is YouTube is automatically flagging it and retracting it. I just be careful. YouTube, they're the thought police now. I'm gonna go back and look at some of these. I like what Scorpio is saying, that doing wrong can feel so right. I know. Look, Scorpio butterfly, I'm usually the person to walk the line. It's like I told one of my girlfriends the other day, I'm like, I think that this matrix is just ass backwards. It's just like, it's gone. We're not living in the world we used to live in. I've been trying to do the right thing for so long, and what do I have to show for it? I mean, I'm waiting around for Mr. Right, and he never shows up. So, I mean, this Aries shows up, and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to go make mistakes, and we're going to try to have fun with it, and I'm probably going to cry about it later. All my pie's going to cry like a river when it ends, because that's what I do. But in the moment, I'll enjoy it, And I guess it's time for that. I mean, like if you've been on hold, like I asked my kids, how do you feel about this? I asked all three of them before I got involved. And they're like, go have fun. I think they're tired of seeing me wait around for Mr. Right and for him to not show up. And they're paying for me in a way. And they're just like, just go do something, go have fun. And Aries is good for that. Aries is really good for that. Let's see. Let's see what messages we have. A bunch of retracted ones. Let's see. Okay. They stonewall. Hell yeah, they do. That's why it didn't work out with Aries number 1 in my early 20s, because I'd sit there and try to like talk to him and he would stonewall me. And I'm sorry, I'm an air sign, so are you, right? And like we vent, we talk, like we reason, like let's work this out, let's talk this out. And they shut down. They just shut down. And I'm like, I can't deal with that. I can't work with that. You got to give me something to work with. And he wasn't giving me anything to work with. And so I'm just like, well, we don't have anything here. I hate that stonewalling shit. I hate it. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. It's emotional immaturity as well. It really is. Yeah, somebody here was asking me Joe Biden or Trump. Well, let me just say this. Let's go, Brandon. Does that answer your question? Let's go, Brandon. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to say full disclosure, I did not vote for Trump because I didn't vote for anybody. And you know why I didn't vote in for anybody? Because I've known since 2012 that the elections are selections, all right? This whole voter that we're not supposed to talk about here on this platform, or we get demonetized or censored or whatever, okay, that has been going on for a long time. And I was the weird person who was like, no, I'm not voting because I know it's rigged. Back in 2012. I saw them do that at the GOP for Ron Paul. Do you understand that this happens at such a like low level? It's like so many layers of this, okay? Even like at the local level. I met a lady who won an election in Austin, but it was rigged. She took it to court, proved in a court of law that it was rigged, and they still didn't give her the political office that she legitimately won. She spent thousands upon thousands of dollars to legally fight and win, and she still didn't get her political office that she won. And so now she's a political activist, and this is in Texas, okay? So I'm telling you, and I met her back in probably 2016, okay? And that same year, I watched the DNC steal the nomination from Bernie Sanders and give it to Hillary Clinton. Let me tell you something. The powers that be will not allow you or your candidate to win unless they decide. They're going to tell you who's going to get nominated. They're going to tell you who's going to win. And I mean, I could go all into the Trump thing, but I tell you, the longer the situation went on with Trump, you know, I'm not going to say, I don't agree with everything that Trump does. To me, in my opinion, Trump has not been conservative enough. But at the same time, it's very obvious to me that he was cheated. And that's like, we could go on forever about that. I mean, like, starting with square one, like that Biden, what do they call that? Viagra curve at 3 a.m. on election night. Like, wow, that's really convenient. Everything's convenient. The scamdemic, the mail-in votes. Oh my God, we can go on down the list. So, you know, I will say this, right is right, wrong is wrong, all right? I didn't agree I don't agree with Bernie Sanders. I don't want socialism here, but you know what? The dude won fair and square, and they stole that from him. And the people who were filming in 2016 and saw that happen were so pissed off. You understand that when that happened in 2016, so many Democrats who witnessed that were so pissed off. They were on camera at that time saying, we are so mad at the Democratic Party, we are going to go out and vote Trump just to spite them because of what they saw the Democrat Party do to Bernie Sanders. And I'm telling you, this is not a Democrat versus Republican thing. This is like both parties have been corrupted and infiltrated. But I think that Hillary was supposed to win in 2016. If you recall, the night of the election, she did not have a speech prepared to concede. She was totally unprepared for that. I think that she fully expected that they were going to rig it for her. But I think that, there are algorithms, and there are algorithms where for every one vote that a candidate will get, they'll give their little pet favorite candidate 2 or 3 times more the votes, or a vote and a half or something like that. I don't know how they do it. I don't want to get all off into that, okay? But basically, he got so many votes, it messed up their algorithm. They were not prepared for that. And then he got in and they hated him so much. It was constant hate Trump, hate Trump. And listen, they're still doing it. The dude is not in office anymore. And this is their entire talking points on liberal media. Hate Trump, 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 Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump. Like, you know what? That's all you got? That is all you got. Are you serious? That ain't a talking point. And if it ain't Trump, it's the insurrection, the insurrection, the insurrection. Like, come on. Move on with it. There are other things going on in this country rather than Trump and the insurrection. Oh, God. Sorry. I told you get me started. It's just hard to stop. If you start me up, I'll never stop. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Angel is saying, yeah. Angel, are you for Trump? Are you pro-Trump? The longer I live, the more I'm for Trump. And I'm going to say that, like, again, I don't agree with everything, but, if the dude won fair and square, he won fair and square, all right? And I'm sorry, but, like, I'm not going to sit here and let CNN tell me what to think about that. I looked at so much data. I ain't a dummy. I'm sorry. I was up on election night at 3 a.m. I saw that Biden selection, erection, Viagra curve. All right. That's not, no. That's so artificial. Okay. You're going to tell me that's normal or that is justified. You are living in an alternate reality. You're not using common sense. That doesn't happen anywhere. Here's another thing, like, if this guy supposedly got more votes than any other president in history, more than Barack Obama, okay? Why the hell is it that every time there's some, sports event in a stadium, they're all breaking out in F Joe Biden chants? That's very telling. You can play around with votes. You can play around with algorithms on social media. You can censor people. You can, blacklist them. You can scrub things from the internet. You can do all kinds of fakery, all right, in this digital reality, all right? But you can't fake stadiums upon stadiums of people chanting in unison, F Joe Biden. Like, that ain't fake. That's organic. That is real. And this is happening in a country that supposedly overwhelmingly voted for this guy. Hell to the no. People need to figure out shit ain't adding up here. It ain't adding up. So I'm getting on a damn roll. And Angel, you might be the only one talking. I know we got other people here, but come on, people, chime in because I'm getting on fire. Y'all gotta, I could just see, I could go off. I could so keep going, and I don't want to make it a monologue. I want to talk to y'all, but um, yeah, Angel says, sorry, I didn't want to keep them on there in case you didn't want to talk politics. I love politics also. I'm totally like, I can do politics. I can do politics. The only thing is like, I have been a little bit out of the loop on the politics recently, which is highly unusual because of this damn full moon. I'm blaming it all on the full moon in Aries. Everything. We just blame it all on the damn full moon. you know? Um, Angel says Tucker Carlson is the best to watch it. I watch it every night. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch Fox News. I quit watching Fox in about 2012 as well because I figured out that they're controlled opposition. They are there to create the illusion of choice. But there's only so much that they will allow to be put on their network because, I mean, you can't have too much truth out there, right? So, but Tucker Carlson is an exception in my book. And then again, I don't agree with him on everything, but he's doing a damn good job and he needs some respect for that. The other people on there, I'm not giving him my time of day. I'm not. But Tucker Carlson's really good. And Scorpio Butterfly saying, you go, girl. So yeah, lately, over the last week, I'm going to tell you my favorite song, political, has been the Let's Go Brandon theme song by Loza Alexander. Have y'all seen it? It was like, man, it was on TikTok and then they banned it from TikTok. By the way, I'm on TikTok, okay? Not as Warrior Woman 212, but as Crowned Ones. So y'all can look me up under Crowned Ones on TikTok. But I'm not putting any content on there as of right now. I may at some point, but as of right now, I got too many irons in the fire. But anyway, I saw him on TikTok. I saw the Let's Go Brandon theme song. I shared it to my Twitter. He finally released the extended version. I think he's also releasing his album that's called, I think it's called Triggered Music or something like that. But that shit is so funny. I mean, people are downloading that as a ringtone. I almost told my kids, y'all need to make this my ringtone. When I call you, this song needs to go off on the phone. Let's Go Brandon. I'm so loving that song lately. Man, if y'all haven't heard it, you need to. He's here on YouTube, Loza, Loza Alexander. He's a rapper. And the song is Let's Go Brandon. And it is so damn funny. I love that song. Is that Adam is here and saying hi, good to see you. And a lot of abusers suffering from narcissism. That's an interesting question. I don't want to, I want to be careful. Like, I know I've written a book about it and I'll show you. Oh, I guess it's packed up. Yeah, my book is packed up. That's not good. Okay, so I won't get my book out, but, I've written a book on narcissism, as many of you know. I think that we talk a lot about narcissism in our society. There's been a lot of raised awareness about it, which I think is good. But even though, I talk about it a lot and I've written about it, I do try to watch myself in saying that someone is actually a narcissist. Supposedly, it's I don't know, like 1 out of 10, my memory's fuzzy, something around like 1 out of 10 people are narcs. Um, but a lot of us are involved in toxic relationships, toxic dynamics. We ourselves have toxic behavior, right? I'm no exception. Um, Damn, we're with all this lunar energy, it's really, this is a catharsis that we're all collectively going through, purging the toxic energies within ourselves and in our relationships. Does that mean that we're all narcissistic because we carry these abusive, toxic behavior patterns or whatever? I don't want to be so quick to say yes. I think that a distinction needs to be made between narcissism, between someone being an outright narcissist and someone demonstrating narcissistic character traits. And I think actually there are more people out there that have just a few narcissistic character traits versus those that are actually narcissists. Because we pick it up, like it's so prevalent, it's so pervasive in our culture. And I don't really know that some people are not actually narcissists. But there's little things here and there that they do on occasion that is it's like demonstrated a narcissistic character trait, because it's just learned behavior. You pick it up, you absorb it in your environment. Maybe you grew up in a household like that. You were maybe raised by narcissists or around narcissists, and it's almost like through osmosis you pick this up, and it doesn't mean necessarily that you're a narc. But I don't know, what do you think, Adam? What is your take on that? I'll be interested to read about that. Let me get my glasses that I just dropped, if I can. There we go. Ooh. All right, let's see. Angel is saying, I live with one and it's destroyed me. I'm finally getting out and it feels good to let go of that toxic energy. I married 2 Aries and both had a mask on the whole time and waited years to show their true selves. They live in a whole other life. Yeah, I'm gonna say this, like, okay, y'all heard me say I love Aries. But Aries is the self, right? Right. Libra is opposite, is about other. Libra is very, diplomatic, partnership focused, other focused, and Aries is about the self, the individual. And I think that, I'm not throwing shade at Aries here, but it's easier if you come in with that energetic signature on you, where your slant in life is to be about yourself, which, there is a time and a place for that. Like I was doing a reading recently for an Aquarian who was just giving herself to her own detriment, which I'm going to tell you, as an Aquarian, my God, that's where we screw ourselves over. It's our gift curse. We're other focused. And I saw in her reading that she was doing that. And I understand as an Aquarian, I know what's going on here, girl. And let me tell you. And I said, you want to get that straightened out? Get around an Aries. Oh, they're going to show you. You might not like it, but Aries will show you how to think about yourself, because they do it really well. They do it really, really well. Now, I do feel like there's supposed to be an exchange here, and Aries is supposed to learn from Aquarius how to be more other focused. Unfortunately, in my experience, they've not been open to that. Because again, we're dealing with a child, and it's like telling the child, no, don't put your finger in the light socket, honey. Honey, don't run across the parking lot without holding my hand. And they're yanking the whole time, thinking that you're just trying to hold them down. It's like this is what you deal with a lot with Aries. You know, you're trying to protect them and love them and give to them, but they see it through almost this childlike lens of, you're trying to take my happiness from me, my joy. You don't want me to be happy. And it's like, well, there are other people here you need to consider. Oh, other people here to consider? I think, again, this is not to say that all Aries are narcissistic, but when you come in with that energetic signature, Sun in Aries, um, there is an inclination towards that, or a proclivity towards being very me focused, to the point of narcissism. I'm just saying, you know, or at least bare minimum, conveying narcissistic behavior traits. It's very rough on me because, like, you know, in my my natal chart, I have first house, which is very Aries, in my South Node. So, and I've got Chiron in Aries, Juno in Aries, and, you know, I could go on down the list. Long story short, I'm here to be in partnership. And anytime I try to just be about myself, it's like the universe is like, yeah, flush that down the toilet. That's not going to work out. And so, I'm not allowed to really be in Aries with a South Node, first house in the South Node. It's like, I'm supposed to be in partnership, and all my Aquarius, Pisces placements, all, you know, all my astrological activity and, you know, 9th through 11th houses, very much about the transpersonal, right? Very, very other focused, other, okay? And then the Chiron and Aries, it ain't about you, honey, in this life. It ain't about you. It's not. And that's pretty rough. People who have energetic signatures like that, gotta have quite the task to, you know, not give themselves away to their own detriment. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I think also sometimes you can't get Aries to understand that. Sometimes, like, Aries are all about their bubble, and you try to get them to understand that that's not other people's life path, or that doesn't work for other people, right? Doesn't work for me to be Aries. It doesn't. I mean, I need to temper it. Trust me. They teach me that, but I can't quite go to the level that they can go and get away with it, because I don't have their natal chart. I don't have their energetic signature. We don't have the same life purpose destiny. I do feel a lot of times that Aries have a one size fits all. Like, if everybody just lived like me, everything would be great. No, it would not. Y'all are great, but no, it would not. I love y'all, but no, wrong. Anyway. Oh, we are just so talking about Aries tonight. Angel's saying, yeah, I can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think that also, with the mask wearing, which is very narcissistic, but I will say, even if you're not a narc, and I've become more self-aware of this within myself, we all do this more or less, right? I mean, definitely narcs are at a whole nother end of the spectrum with the mask wearing, okay? But yeah, generally, like, you meet somebody and you're not gonna, like, just pull all your shit out on the table right there on the first date, you know, and tell them all your baggage. It's not necessarily you're trying to deceive them, but it's like, you know, let's pace ourselves here, you know. But then, yeah, maybe people come to false conclusions about who you are and what's going on in the relationship. And I think a lot of idealism too. This is something that I've been working on within myself. I'm very prone to it, with my North Node in the 7th house, conjunct Neptune, not seeing relationships clearly. maybe idealizing people too much, you know, and all my Pisces kind of Neptuning out and just really seeing the potential of a personal relationship, but not looking at the reality of what it is and who they choose to be, you know. I've gotten really schooled hard on that. So at this point in my life, I'm like really trying to stay grounded and keep myself in check, like what's going on here. Like this guy that I'm talking to right now that's an Aries sun, I'm just like, you know, um, let's not deceive ourselves about what we're doing here. And I don't think he is either, which is really a cool thing. It's kind of like I said earlier, I asked him one night, we were hanging out, I said, what are we doing here? He said, making mistakes. And I said, bingo. So it's cool. Like, we ain't lying. We're not lying to each other about what's going on. So I try to stay grounded in that. I really do, you know. But and I was upfront with him though, you know. I was like, it reaches a point where if we get so involved, I tend to get really attached. I usually fall in love with people. It's my Venus and Pisces. I have to guard my heart. So if it reaches a point where I just start having feeling my heart go in that direction, and I know that this is not a long-term thing, then we are probably going to have to put some distance, you know. It's sad to say, but just being realistic and grounding, like, you know, who do you give your heart to? Who do you open up to that level? And when I was younger, and I think a lot of people do this, definitely in their 20s, I see people my age doing it, 40s, 50s doing this shit still. My God, we got to learn. Like, when you meet people, get real, get totally real about um, not projecting ideals onto other people and make believing to yourself, or letting them make believe that you're the person that they imagine you to be versus who you really are. Like this guy, you know, that I'm talking to, you know, we kind of had some serious conversations about insecurities, vulnerabilities. Like, just clear it. Let's just clear the table. Like, let's get it all out on the table. What are your insecurities? What are your fears? What is it that you're wanting out of this arrangement? What do I want out of this arrangement? How can we help each other, you know, so that we're not projecting expectations or ideals out of one another that, you know, um, is unrealistic, and then ultimately going to just disappoint the two of us. And then you get angry and resentful. Oh my, somebody gave money. Thank you so much. Oh, is it chauvinist? Who's the chauvinist here with the, oh, I love the eyes. Oh my God. You are, okay, what was the S word? Chauvinist. What was the S word? I don't know what that was. But you've got glowing eyes. So are you into crypto? Are you into Bitcoin? We could talk crypto Bitcoin. How about that? That's sexy hot right there. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do when I was totally single Pringle. Go to bed at night, look at my Coinbase app, and just be all, you know, like, ooh, that's sexy right there. Sexy right there. Bitcoin is just going up. Loving that, man. That's just like, woo, keeping me warm at night. Just the thought of my Coinbase, you know. Oh, chauvinist said you said shit. Did I? Did I? I don't even know in what context I said that. But you know, it happens. Shit happens, right? Hopefully they don't censor me here. Angel is saying, I was told empaths attract narcissists. I do feel that's true because I had so much love to give and he ate it up and took my light. Had to balance myself. Yes, I've learned to ask their credit score. Yeah, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, good credit means stability. Absolutely. So, I mean, those are interesting points, Angel. Yes, I think that empaths are narc magnets. And we want to heal, we want to fix, we want to restore. And they always have a crisis, don't they? They've always got some crisis that needs intervening in conveniently. And then no matter how much you help them and try to heal and fix, another crisis comes up. Always. It never goes away. And it's their little way of keeping the spotlight on them. And I think as empaths, our hope is that one day they're going to return it back, but they never do. And then you find yourself, like I did in a 20-year marriage, like, holy shit, this never changes. No amount of my giving ever fixes this. Like, nothing I do ever fixes this. Is like who this person is. There will always be self-sabotage. There will always be manufactured crisis to divert attention off myself and on to him, and affirming his need for the admiration and the attention and all of that. And once I really got the memo that this is the pattern, this is the cycle, and I have been accommodating it, I've been feeding this little demon. And the only way to really break that pattern was to totally, gray rock, right? And what's the other term that I'm looking for? Where go no contact, gray rock, go no contact, because the more you engage with them, the more they drain you. And the more you're entangled with them financially, God forbid, oh, that's a nightmare. I guess a month or two, probably 2 months ago, I put out a series on narcs and money. If y'all have not seen that, go check that out. That is, woo, that is something. That is something. And so on the credit score comment that you made, Angel, I am so with you. Like, after my divorce, my credit was so shit-tastic, ruined. And I started doing credit repair, credit restoration. I started like learning how to get mastery over finances and all of that. And I started investing in crypto and blah, blah, blah. And here we go again. Let me see. Chauvinist again is commenting. Thank you for the $5, Chauvinist. What was I gonna say? I worked on healing, getting financial healing, basically post the narc. And I think that when you know that somebody is like this, yes, unstable, as you said, you cannot entangle yourself with them financially. You cannot ever again. You always must keep your finances separate from this person, because they're absolutely parasitic. So parasitic. All right. So I need to do something real quick. I am removing oh, I'm not even gonna say your name. I know where you're going with that. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? Really, like, seriously. I mean, number one, this is not sex.com, and I don't know why I have to say that almost every time I go live. The roaches come out of the sewer. All right. Like, where are these people crawling out from? Under a rock? Like, what about me says this is sex.com? And then to put racial slurs on here. Hello, get off of here, get a life, okay? Like, this is not a porn site. I just knocked him out. I don't have any of my moderators in here tonight, but I just knocked that person out. That's just like, I'm looking at these comments and I'm just like, y'all bear with me for a moment. Holly is saying he's sick. Absolutely. And I'm reporting that one. Like, I'm removing them and I'm reporting them. Yeah, I'm about to ignore them, Angel. This is because there are people in here that apparently need to get laid and they think this is sex.com. It's not. I don't know what your problem is, but you got one. I'm telling you, people are really fucked up in the head. Excuse my French. And I've never talked that way on here. I hope I don't get in trouble on YouTube for saying that. But it's like, to call it anything less is a lie, is inauthentic. All right. These people are effed in the brain. What kind of person sits at home and uses their attention and their time and their resources to troll a live chat? A live chat that is purposed to talk about spirituality, try to edify people on a spiritual, relational level, and you're going to come on here and do this. And this is my complaint with YouTube. They are attracting these kind of people to this platform because they are rewarding high productivity, low quality content. And that's why I backed off of YouTube for the last year and a half. And I've been focusing on online, offline business. Because I can tell you for damn sure ain't nobody coming talking to me like that to my face in person. Nobody. I do offline business when I do festivals or when I go to cafes and I do readings in person. I never have anybody talk to me like that to my face. These are some weak ass people hiding behind a computer monitor. And they're sick on top of that. Help yourself. Really, get a therapist. What are you doing with your life? Sorry, I'm on a rant because it just, I'm so freaking tired of the Jerry Springer content on this platform. So tired of it. Absolutely. Get a freaking girlfriend. I don't want to hear about it. You know, it's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see what else. I wish my moderators were in here tonight because they would handle all these people. And yeah, I'm like hiding some of these people. I just want them out. They're trashing up my timeline, my chat. And I don't like that. So let's try to get the conversation back on track. I will say that this really, it's not entirely unusual to get this type of trash content or trash talking on my chat on this platform, unfortunately. But tonight it is at a really peaked out level. And I'm going to blame it again on that damn full moon in Aries. I am. Like, there was so much sexual energy. People are like ramped up, really ramped up. And I mean, I am not going to lie. I'm not going to play Mother Teresa here. I've been feeling it too. Shit, God help me. But there's sexual secrets that have come out during this full moon. Shocking stuff. Really taboo stuff. Scandalous stuff. Oh my. And, you know, God forbid if you're dealing with somebody who's really low frequency, very carnal, very primal. You're going to get this kind of depravity, sexual depravity. And I get tired of that. Like, I want to clarify to people, like, don't get me wrong when I say what I'm about to say. I am not a prude, okay? But humanity needs to elevate to a higher level with this whole sex thing, okay? Like, if those of you who saw the chat and the way that person was talking to me, this is coming from somebody who has no respect for the spirit of another person. They probably have no concept or mental framework for the concept of sacred sexuality at all. At all. For them, sex is just about getting off. And I'm going to say that as we get more into Scorpio season, we're being challenged to take this at a deeper level. We're being challenged to strive for deeper intimacy, emotional intimacy and connection in our sexual relationships. But at the same time, the shadow side of the Scorpio energy is, well, people who are like power tripping, and sex is a big power trip to them. And they've got these dark demons that are like running their sex life, okay? It's gonna come out. It's being raised to the surface for people to like deal with your inner demons. Is sex a power trip for you? Is sex just carnal, primal? And, you know, I'm like, there's a time and a place for that kind of, like, don't get me wrong. I've been there, I've done that, you know. But God, could we come up higher? Can we get beyond this? I mean, it's like somebody asked me earlier, are you on Instagram? Well, yeah, I am kind of on Instagram, but I don't really hang out there much. I'll be honest with you, because of that bullshit, all that Cardi B shit going on, people uploading, they're twerking. And it's like, what has happened to humanity that we have brought something that is supposed to be beautiful, that is supposed to be healing on a spiritual level, such as sex? We bring it down to this depravity. Y'all know I've written about this on my blog. You know, I've talked about sacred sexuality on my blog. I don't know that anybody was listening. But Scorpio Butterfly saying, I am with you. Thank you. Yeah, so we got another one here saying spirituality is fake. And, oh, you know, I think that, and that's coming from a user by the name of Arched Circus. I don't know. Okay. You know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I sense that you're a man. And let's talk about that, shall we? That spirituality is fake. You know, you can believe whatever you want. I mean, if you want to believe that gravity is fake and go jump off a cliff, you know, go do it. You know, to each his own, honey. It's your life. Live it. But there's only one. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and get into a debate about spirituality being fake. But the really sad thing is that the majority of this trash trolling talk that you know, is very highly sexualized, anti-spiritual, definitely not into sacred sexuality at all, typically coming from men. And I don't want to trash talk men, because I know I have some really good male viewers. Like Steve's not here tonight from Estonia. He's probably asleep because we went live so late. But I mean, Steve is very spiritual. So like, and I can say, you know, that's just one of my viewers that I can name like that. Not all men are like this, but I'm going to say that there is a tendency for men to view sex as merely physical. And for women, it is not. It is, and there are always exceptions. And so I'm speaking in generalizations. Please flow with me, people, and don't miss the point. For most women, sex is physical, emotional, and spiritual. And these men who have this meaningless sex, there's no emotional connection. There's no healing element to the sexuality on a spiritual level. There's degradation, there's exploitation, there's a parasitic nature. It's absolutely disgusting. We need divine masculinity. My God, humanity is in a deficit. And this is what my ex I was talking to about maybe a week ago. It was saying, like, this is the problem. It's like, we've got people that are out of alignment. Men are not being men. And some of y'all that are very new agey or liberal, wokeism types, you know, not going to like what I'm going to say, but masculine energy is about protecting and providing. If you are not making that woman feel safe and secure sexually, you're making her feel harassed, used, exploited, demeaned. You are not a man. You are not walking in your divine masculinity. I'm tired of it. Not only was that full moon in Aries very sexual energy, particularly with Pluto and Mars there squaring, right? But this new moon coming up in Scorpio, more sexual energy, more. And that's on the 5th. So I don't know if that's why this live chat is going in that direction, because y'all know I do live chats and I don't get into sex. Like, I don't get into sex. I've started a lot of live chats just intercepting that right out the gate and telling people, if if you're here for that, don't even get started, because this ain't, this ain't 1-800. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go there. I almost said it. I got to really clean up my language. I don't know what's going on with it tonight. I don't know what's going on. But there's some highly sexualized energy that is, in my opinion, out of the ordinary, and I'm picking up on it tonight. So, you know, it went there. So let's look at some of the other messages. Angel saying, you're right, they have no respect. Okay, Mr. Ed is saying some women don't respect sex either. Hey, you're damn right. You damn right about that, Mr. Ed. Okay. Thank you for asking Arch to be an adult. I really appreciate that. Mr. Ed is saying, and I'm glad to hear from a man who is like, respectful. But Mr. Ed's saying sex is more than physical. Too many of both genders don't respect it much anymore. Yeah, that's why you see all those women on there on Instagram twerking and doing this little Cardi B bullshit things, like, what the hell is going on? I mean, do you see that? That's like a trend of these young women going online, posting videos of them defiling themselves. They're air effing, excuse my vulgarity, but that's what it is. You're actually you're doing, God, I'm really going there. I'm really like, I'm trying to clean it up, but I'm like, at the same time, like, how do I say that in a clean way? I can't, like, look, who does that? You're putting this online. I told my daughters, I said, do not put this shit online one day. Like, they're data compiling, they're data archiving all of this stuff that these young women are putting online. And sometime in the future, who knows, that you're trying to get a job or you're trying to do business with somebody and they pull it up on you. Some video of you air effing nothing. For what? These women are defiling themselves openly in public. They have no respect for their own sexuality. They have no respect for it. No standards at all. None. And back to Mr. Ed, yeah, there are women, and I'm sorry to say, I met one earlier this year, and I'm also sorry to say she was an Aquarian, and I want to like her. I do like her in many respects, but too many men, too many damn men, and then I started understanding why some of these men trash talk single moms, because she was a single mom and she was flipping men. She was flipping men left and right, and it was just like, holy crap. And I don't do that. I'm not about that life. Like, I've been single for the last 6 years, and I saw 2 different men, but I never brought them around my kids because it never got serious. I would never bring a man around my kids unless there was something serious going on. But that's like 2 men in like 6 years. And these women, they'll have 2 men in a week or 3 days, and men coming and going in front of their kids. What the hell has happened? There needs to be more respect. You have to understand, when you're sleeping with people, you're exchanging DNA. There are soul ties. Sweet Jesus, we should get into that, and maybe that's some content for Scorpio season. Let's talk about these soul ties of sleeping with people. This is deep stuff. And they're scattering. The more people you sleep with, the more you scatter your energy. You have to be discerning. about who you give your body to, your soul to, male or female. And I don't know, like with these women on Instagram and then these men talking trash, trolling my chat every time I come on here. Sweet Jesus. Rapture me now, man. Get me off this planet. Angel's saying, you're right, Mr. Ed. She's agreeing. Yeah, I'm gonna get this arched person off of here. You know, and I hate doing that. You gotta understand, the Aquarian in me hates blocking people or censoring people because it is so against my core beliefs in people being free. Like, you're free to disagree, okay? This is my Aquarian mentality. Free speech, free decisions, okay? But when it starts getting abusive, which he did, he started talking smack to another one of my users, commenters, you know, I'm just like, we're done. You just went too far with this, okay? When you start getting abusive to other viewers, other commenters on here, out you go. Or you're getting abusive to me. I don't mind people speaking their piece. I don't mind people disagreeing with me openly. What I mind is if you're just like, you're straight up talking smack, you're being destructive, not constructive, you're just hurting people. For all I know, he could be 12 years old, you know, or he could be like a 40-year-old virgin in his mom's basement. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who these people are on the other line. So, I mean, I just know they need a therapist, okay? Mr. Ed saying, wow, 6 years is a long time, been 2 years for me, and it feels like forever. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because I have like all these ideals, and I've been, you know, like I mean, I've had a lot of other offers, but they were, you know, they were sex only offers. And it's like these men, they don't understand that for women, you know, sexuality is about an emotional and a spiritual connection in addition to a physical connection. They don't get that, and they don't understand our values are different. We value stability and security. We want a man, and particularly I do with my Juno and Aries, like I need a very masculine protector, provider type of energy. And we got so many beta males right now. We got so many men who are not secure within themselves and stable within themselves. And that's a whole nother topic as to why, what has happened to masculinity in this country or just worldwide. Toxic, absolutely toxic. Men not in alignment with their divine masculinity. Therefore, they can't come to the table and bring me the stability and the security and be the protectors and the providers. They can't do it. And I mean, hell, all they can offer me is some primal carnal sex, which, don't get me wrong, I'm human. I could definitely go there. Honey, I can go there. Especially after 6 years. Hell yeah, I can go there. But I mean, I've got my ideals with all my Pisces placements and, you know, Neptune conjunct my North Node in Sagittarius, you know, in the 7th house. I mean, sweet Jesus, you know, I've been waiting and holding out for the right one. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. I've been telling my viewers and I tell my clients, you know, you have got to cut these partners out. Like these people that are misalignments, you have to identify the misalignments and remove them from your life to make space in your life for the right person to come in. But I'm going to tell you, I'm being confronted because I've got to reevaluate. I've been saying this for how many years? I've been taking my own advice. And Mr. Right has not shown up. I've made plenty of space for Mr. Right to show up. And he hadn't shown up. And so now I'm just like at a what gives? What gives? So all I'm going to get is Mr. Wrong. And so now my choice is wrong, wronger, or wrongest, right? That's where I'm at. Wrong, wronger, or wrongest. What are we doing here? Because apparently Mr. Right's not an option. I don't know. How many years are we supposed to hold out for Mr. Right or Miss Right in your case, Mr. Ed? So, yeah, it's rough. Mr. Ed is also saying, with the rise of STDs, not worth the risk. You consume your partner's energy, good and bad, better to be single. Absolutely. Like, yeah, like, particularly the older you are, the higher risk you are. In your 20s, you can play around with that kind of stuff, maybe more, but once you start getting into your 40s, 50s, there are more people in that age bracket that have herpes or something of the like, and because, yeah, just logically, the more people, the longer you live, the more people you've probably slept with, and the more people you slept with, the higher risk you run of contracting something. So it's very, very common. I know a lot of people who, by the way, I wrote a little bit of an article on that too. I talked about that on my blog with Divine Sexuality and dealing with that issue of partnering with people who have STDs. It's a very real problem the older we get. And I'm telling you, like, girlfriends, I've had girlfriends contracted it from someone they didn't, was a carrier. The guy didn't know he had it, but he was carrying it. And so she got it, and he didn't know that he was carrying it, which is really super creepy. So right, like, you can look at the person and think they're healthy, and right, they're not. They think they're healthy and they're not. It's scary stuff. So people really need to slow their roll, and that's not just like, even if it's like not an issue of STDs, there's that whole energetic exchange, especially if you're an empath. If you're an empath, you're taking on that person's energy, and you have to be careful. But I will say, like, there's a duality to a lot of things, right? I personally feel that sex in its highest expression should be a very healing act, and that you need to you need to be with a partner you can release and purge with, emotionally, physically, spiritually, right? Like, if you're with somebody that you could, like, oh God, I'm really, man, I'm feeling the Scorpio. I feel like this conversation's going Scorpio deep. Okay, so let's say you got some emotional baggage and you're having sex with somebody. This is so taboo. Let's say, are you free to cry with that person? Is it okay? Is it safe to cry with that person? Is it okay to get loud? And, is it okay to be expressive? Is it okay to vent and get something out of your system? Is it okay to have a full range of emotion during the act or right after, as a way of releasing pent up energy, stored tension? Because if you're having sex with people who you're not safe to be vulnerable with at that level, I don't know why I'm hearing bastardization. I gotta look that up. I have not heard that word in so long. It's almost like, what does that mean? Why am I hearing that? I'm gonna look it up. I don't even know where that fits into what I'm saying, but people have, I'm going to look it up if it'll pull up. Somebody tell me what that word means, because I heard it and I never use that word, and I heard it in my head. So sometimes spirit does that to me. Sometimes spirit will give me a word and I'm like, I got to go look that up because I don't even know what that means. It's illegitimate. Like, this is what I'm waiting for the definition to pull up, but it's like, this is not legitimate sex. This is a way of delegitimizing sex. Like, I guess my point is, I'm trying to say that if you are sleeping with somebody who you can't let go with on an emotional level, you cannot be vulnerable with them. You cannot connect at that deep heart space level. You're not having sacred sexuality. You're just an animal. You're like a dog in heat. I mean, no offense. Like, again, some people maybe can't handle this conversation I'm having right now, because we are really going Scorpio deep with this. But I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I wish humanity would raise out of that. I wish people would understand that sex is an opportunity to do energy healing, to do energy exchange. And yeah, I feel like there is this dark side that in this energetic exchange, yes, you can pick up on some negative stuff from that person. Like, I'm probably telling TMI right now, but like, sage your room before, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'm all into my sage lately. Y'all gotta forgive me. Look, if you're gonna be sleeping with somebody, maybe sage the space first, right? Sage that space. You don't know who they've had in their bed. Who have you had in your bed? Sage that damn space. This is a crazy thought also, oh, this is so out in left field. Could you pray for that person? Could you pray for that person? Yeah, there's like, I know some of you don't mix sexuality with spirituality. That's why I love Depeche Mode, by the way. I don't know if any of y'all followed, like, I'm an 80s kid, so I love Depeche Mode. Because you get that on a lot of the music from Depeche Mode. It's they have this way of merging sex with sexuality. And I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around that. They separate the two, but it's not separated. You could actually, okay, yeah, bastardize. I'm going to say the definition, because I said bastardization, and that's what I heard in my head, and I never use that word. This is what it means: to lower in quality or character, debase, to declare or prove someone to be a bastard. Okay, so it's the first definition, all right? To lower in quality or character, to debase. They're cheapening. I mean, in its highest expression, there's the opportunity with sex to bring healing. Right? Like with tantric sex, they talk about how at the time of orgasm, you move that energy, you consciously move that energy from here all the way up through the chakras, all the way up through the crown chakra, to cleanse, to purge with that orgasm. Well, I'm getting really, really open tonight, really Scorpio deep tonight. And a lot of people, they don't do that. They don't have sacred sexuality. They're not using that sexual energy, that orgasm, to clean their chakras, to purge tension and blockages in their chakras. They're just, that energy just stays concentrated down there. And people need, this is another thing that disgusts me with the internet, is that there's so much bastardization of sex all over the internet. Like, look at how much porn there is. Do not misunderstand me. I'm not a prude. I'm not. But if we had as much content online about sacred sexuality as we do the bastardization of sex, where would we be collectively with humanity? Where would we be right now? And these people that are like sex addicts to the point that they can no longer relate to another human, a live human being, because they're so mind effed from the pornography addiction, they cannot connect to a live person anymore. I mean, it's just sad what this is doing to people individually and relationally. And there are so many resources out there that are just not getting, they're not, I don't know. Does anybody follow what I'm saying? That it's like, I don't want to say it's being suppressed, but it's not being promoted. The bastardization of sex is what we see promoted rather than sacred sexuality. It's just a crying shame. And as a single woman, I've encountered this time and time and time again. Sacred sexuality is very scary for a lot of people. And I'm going to say, as a single straight woman, deal with a lot of intimacy problems with men. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen with women. Obviously, it does. I mean, I will even, as a confession, say this Aries that I met, he's been breaking down some walls. I didn't even realize, of how many years being alone, I did not realize that I had subconsciously built up walls within myself. And he's been really healing in terms of helping me to break down walls. It's a beautiful thing. It's very healing, But I don't know. Let me look at some of the comments. I hope I haven't lost anybody here on what I've been saying. So Mr. Ed is saying, is the Scorpio influence more of a reckless nature? No, the Scorpio influence is intense. It's transformative. Scorpio is very much like eighth house, where it's these death rebirth cycles to bring change and transformation. But eighth house is like a lot of private stuff, like hidden, deep, like what goes on in the bedroom. It's sex, intimacy, issues of power versus powerlessness, other people's money, shared resources, things like that. And so I can see, by the way, and with this lunar energy, I'm going to do another video about it later, okay? But on the astrology for November, but I'm just going to say very briefly right now, with the lunar energy in November hitting the 8th, or hitting some, like, I should say Scorpio versus Taurus, and we're coming into eclipses involving, we're coming into a bunch of this dynamic of what's mine versus, what's ours. And, but back to your question, and I really see a lot of sexual energy around. I mean, I feel it on an empathic level, but I see it in the astrology. It can be explained astrologically with that full moon that we just had in Aries on the 20th, and I can see it again on the November 5th with the new moon in Scorpio. A lot of themes of sexuality. And I kid you not, I had no idea when I went live tonight that I was going to go off in this. And those of y'all who watch my lives, I don't talk this way always, because it's very, very private, right? And that's Scorpio. Scorpio is like, what goes on behind closed doors, right? We don't talk about that kind of stuff. We keep that behind closed doors. Well, it's really the energies of this coming month, and even right now already, are just raising it all to the surface, shining a light on these dark, hidden, private matters. So Mr. Ed says, I'm a Cap son, so always been very conservative. I hear Scorpios are generally promiscuous. That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I want to say that. I don't know if I want to rush off to say that. I'm trying to go through my head of all the Scorpios. I don't know. I don't want to call them promiscuous, but yeah, I think they have had a lot of partners. I think that they have feelings. I think they, I don't know. I don't want to rush in to say that they're all promiscuous, right? Obviously, that's a generalization, and frankly, I'll say this, like, to me, understanding whether a person is energetically promiscuous in terms of, is there an astrological explanation? That could more be seen in their Mars placements and their Venus placements in their natal chart. Like, Mars is your sexual energy, how you assert yourself in the bedroom, and Venus is your love nature. And so, like, if you meet somebody and you're wondering, are we going to be compatible in that way? Look at their Mars and Venus placements and how it hits your Mars and Venus placements. And that's really going to tell you, I mean, is this somebody who is just going to be sleeping around for the fun of it, and they look at sex in a very loose way? Or do they tend to have a deep feeling about, right? Like, I'm gonna tell you straight up, my Mars is in Capricorn in the 8th house. It's my only Capricorn placement. Mars in Capricorn in the 8th house. And so, I'm all about depth. Okay. Like, I ain't about playing around, honey. We ain't gonna play. It ain't patty cake time. Okay. You want to go play around? Go down to the club, because it ain't over here. We're gonna go Scorpio deep. That's me. Okay, I'm getting some more comments, and this is good. Mr. Ed is saying these beta males are due to being raised without fathers, blame single mothers. Well, I mean, I'm a single mother, and I was married to a narcissist for 20 years, and I did not file divorce. God as my witness, did everything to prevent my children from being raised in a single parent home. And so I don't accept the blame at all. I was willing to suffer for years, so that my children would not be put in that situation. So I don't think it's a one size fits all with the single moms. And frankly, if you're very conservative, and so am I, and I have a Christian background, let me say this, conservatively speaking, biblically speaking, it all goes back to the man. The man bears responsibility, right? Look at the Garden of Eden. Adam ate the apple, and God asked, he didn't go ask Eve about it. He asked Adam, did you eat that apple? He asked the man, not the woman, did you eat that apple? And you know what Adam said? That woman, do you think God cared? No, they got kicked out. I know some of y'all think it's all, mythology or mythical, whatever. I'm not here to argue that point. My point is that men like to blame women for their bad choices. And, you know, it doesn't work in the spirit realm, especially if you're following a biblical theology. All right. The biblical belief is that the man has the highest burden of responsibility, not the woman. And the belief is that if the man will come into alignment with God, the woman will come into alignment as well. Right? If you're doing what you need to do, and I'm going to tell you straight up, I have a video out about what women want. Some of y'all need to go check that video out. I'm going to tell you, the sexiest, hottest thing is a man who is walking in his divine masculinity. He is bringing the security. He's bringing the stability. He's a protector. He's a provider. That is so damn hot, you just don't even know. Man, that's so hot. You want to be irresistible to women? You want women lining up? That's what you need to bring. You need to have your act together. Like, go watch my video on what women want, because I'm going to talk about this alpha male, beta male stuff. And I'm telling you, if you alpha up and you get in alignment, the women are going to line up and you're going to have your pick. And yes, some of these women are skanky. Yes, some of them are gold diggers. They sure as hell are. But like I said, you'll be able to choose. You'll be able to discern. The good women who are looking for good men, we need better options, because right now the beta's out of control. Beta everywhere. You want to know why I've been single so long? Damn, it's a beta zombie apocalypse everywhere. It's bad. I do agree that the fatherlessness is a huge issue, but to blame it on the woman, oh, that's no. Alpha male will take responsibility. Alpha male will take responsibility rather than blame. Okay, Josh is saying, my ex attacked me with a feather test. Are you serious? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear about that. Leo Oliver, hello. Good to see you. What conversation did I walk in on? LOL. I know, you sure walked in on it, didn't you? I don't even know how you found this. This is a wacky conversation, and we went off on some deep, dark, mysterious conversation that I normally don't enter into. We'll blame it on the astrology. Mr. Ed says influence on Scorpio making us more sexual. Hell yeah, it sure is. Leo is saying, I think I get what you mean. I don't completely agree, but who cares what I think? LOL. I mean, you're free to contribute your point of view. Okay, you absolutely you're free to disagree here. Here's another one saying, and I can't read the name, saying, you look like my English teacher. Oh, I think I know where that comment's going. Let's keep it clean, all right? Let's keep it clean. I do, in fact, have an English degree. I actually have worked as a teacher before, yes. But I read into that. I think I know where you're going with that. All right, so Scorpio Butterfly is saying, as a female Scorpio, I've told my daughter that as you have sex with someone, you are not just having sex, you're giving them a piece of your soul. Absolutely. I love that you say that, Scorpio Butterfly, because I do feel like, I'm going to say this. I think of the Scorpio female friends that I've had, and yeah, technically I think they have had a lot of partners, but I don't think that they've done it from this, oh, I'm just going to go hoe around. I think that they're searching for something some deep connection that they're not finding. And I don't know. I think that they want to, at the heart of, at least the Scorpio females is what I'm going to say. I don't know a lot of Scorpio male. I would kind of lean that way towards the males too, but this guy that I'm seeing right now, Aries Sun, has a Scorpio rising. There's a lot of intensity with him. So I think that they are looking for that deep connection, which is to me a beautiful thing. But I mean, if you're dealing with so many shallow people, which is what we were talking about earlier, how do you get a deep connection in a shallow world? It's terrible, terrible predicament to be in. Leo said, it's all mythology. Bible, I mean. Okay. I mean, you're free to believe that. You're free to believe that. Lion of Judah, Lamb of God. Interesting. We got a Christian here. Awesome. Lying, stealing, theft, blasphemy, rebelling against your parents, unforgiveness, hatred, pride, lust, jealousy, greed, helping, not helping when you can, gossiping, swearing, etc. Jesus will forgive you if you believe. Okay. And also said, I will say this, God frowns upon horoscopes and any form of divination. It is from the enemy. You are literally giving demons legal rights to oppress you and your loved ones. Please turn from it. Okay, I appreciate your thoughts on this, Line of Judah. I have a Christian background, and I studied the Bible quite extensively, and I understand where you're coming from, because that is standard teaching in Christianity. But as I really studied the Bible myself, and I mean deeply studied what the Bible has to say about divination and astrology, what I learned is that the wise men, the three magi, aka magicians, were astrologers. Did you know that? You even read in the Bible, they were following the stars. How they follow the stars to Jesus in the manger. Astrology. They were astrologers. They were magicians. That's what astrologers were called back then, magicians. Short for, the short version is magi, okay? So, you know, look into that. If astrology led the three wise men to Jesus, then how demonic is it really? See, this is what they don't want to talk about in the church, because they don't want you to become self-aware about how everything up there was created by God for divine purpose and plan. Do you think that those are just rocks floating in outer space for no reason? No, we have a God that is on purpose, that is purpose driven. Those planets, those stars, they are all energies. This is all frequency here. I'm not talking spiritual hoodoo. This is scientific. Everything is frequency. Your spirit has a unique energetic frequency. That is in the Bible as well. You have a name. You have a name that God knows you by in the spirit. And it's not what you're called here on earth. It's your energetic signature that is as unique as a fingerprint. And if you want to know what that energetic signature is, it's in your astrology, in your natal chart, at the time that you were born, the exact time, date, location. That is your unique energetic signature. And in there tells you so much about your life that unfortunately, although the church and the Bible has its value, it hits a limit in what it can really pinpoint and tell you about your unique self and your life. And as far as the divination has been going on from the beginning of time. They cast lots. They asked for signs. We had Joseph, who was had interpretation of dreams. Even in the New Testament, the gifts of prophecy are spiritual gifts that the Holy Spirit has given to us. I can go on and on and on with scripture. Okay, I'm not here to do a Bible study. But what I'm trying to say to you is that I understand that you're well-meaning, but study further and you will realize, as I had to, that you're not getting the whole truth at the church. And the reason why is because they want you to go to them for your answers. They don't want you to realize that there's more to this life than them and that they don't have all the answers. It's like, telling you to go to the Pope to get forgiveness for sins when we have a direct line to God. Oh, they don't want you to be able to bypass them. They need you to need them, because if you don't need them and you can go straight to God, then they're out of business, aren't they? Oh, I could go on a whole rant about that. I could really go off on that. Okay, let's see if some questions came in. Lion of Judah says, you will not enter heaven when you die practicing those things. You must be born of God through the Holy Spirit, which comes when God opens your eyes to the gospel. Okay, Lion of Judah, I've been baptized by water, full water immersion baptism, and I've been baptized by fire in the Holy Spirit. That occurred back in the early 90s for me. So you're talking as if, no offense, that I don't know these things, that I'm uninformed, or perhaps you think you're informing my viewers, which is fine, but the reality is that I've gone deeper. I know what you know, but I went deeper because I reached a point after 10 years of being deeply steeped into the church and the Bible, which was a wonderful experience for me. There's a time and a place for it. But I hit a limit in what I could do with my spiritual growth. There was only so far that can take me. And what really started opening me up was when I started looking at what led the three magi, the three wise men, to Jesus, which is the astrology. And as far as the divination, there's not any, you cannot cite one scripture that mentions tarot. There are scriptures against divination, but when you look at those scriptures against divination, that is when people were, they were lying, they were selling lies to people in positions of power, or they were offering up sacrifices such as like infant sacrifice. I don't do that. Anybody who follows my channel knows that I call upon Holy Spirit and I ask to help people, and I don't lie to them. In fact, I tell people, if you are not ready for the truth, do not come to me, because I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm a truth teller. That's what I'm here for. And I certainly don't offer up sacrifices. I don't engage in that type of stuff. But divination is all throughout the Bible. Joseph practiced dream interpretation. There's, oh my gosh, I should probably make public. I have a video that I made a couple years ago about what the Bible has to say. Let me know in the comments down below if you want me to publish that video. It is private, unlisted right now, where I get into a Bible study about what the Bible has to say about divination and prophecy and tarot, because it's like a whole Bible study about it. I want you to understand that, there is truth to what you're saying. Lion of Judah, but you're looking at a facet of truth. And truth is like a diamond. It's many faceted. You're looking at one thing. You're saying, oh, don't do divination. But go deeper, go deeper. There's bad divination in the Bible, and there's good divination in the Bible, right? The divination that Joseph did with dream interpretation, good. He used this to help edify, build up, speak the truth, edify the spirits of people in the Bible. Bad divination is people coming in there who had a prophetic gift from God, and they twisted it for their own selfish to make, profits off of telling people whatever they want to hear, even if it wasn't the truth. You must discern. It's not this flat, don't do it. It's a discern in which way. Do not pervert the gift of the prophetic. And that's something you're not going to hear in the church. Well, unless you go to churches like I went to churches where people float in the prophetic, river churches, which again is also very rare. But I didn't go to traditional churches where they're anti-prophetic. I went to churches that were very much about teaching people to embrace the gifting of the prophetic, and that knowing that we all have this spiritual gift and learning how to refine it if that's what you want to do, and how to use that gift in a godly way, not to use it in a demonic way. I'm just look at more than just this one side, okay, and say it's all bad. It's right, like me saying fire is bad because it can burn down your house. Well, hell yeah, but fire is also good. It can warm your house, in the fireplace. It can cook your food. There's a lot of, right? Or saying water is bad because you can drown in it. Hell yeah, you can drown in water, but there's a lot of good uses. We drink it, we bathe in it, we swim in it. And this is what you're doing with divination. You're saying all divination is bad. But again, if you look in the Bible, you find there's good and bad. You've got to discern. It's not a one size fits all. I hope I'm getting my point across. Leo's saying there are no demons. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. And I do agree, Scorpio Butterfly saying, then why are you on this channel, Line of Judah? Agreed. I mean, listen, if you want to keep on with that, you can. You're free to disagree, but honestly, if that's the way that you believe and you're very fixed in that belief and unwavering, which a lot of Christians are, it's fine, right? Like when I got back into tarot, I was into tarot. I was doing divination. I was doing tarot cards when I was 14, and I did have some very bad spiritual experiences. I ain't gonna lie to you. But that's because I didn't have proper guidance, okay? And I wasn't taught how to clean and pray over my decks and all of that. And then I got into Christianity, and then I got back into tarot and astrology later on, and I knew that some of my friends were not going to agree, and it's fine with me. I didn't try to convert them. I'm totally fine with, like, if you don't agree with me, go do you. People can only, you are living in the truth that you can handle right now. If you're not ready for more truth, you ain't ready for it, okay? You're living in the level of truth that you can handle at this time. And if this is where you're at, this is where you're at. Maybe you need to let it cook a little bit longer, right? Because the way that Line of Judah is talking, my God, some of y'all, if y'all would have met me about 15 years ago, I would have been right on point. Right on point, thinking this is all demonic and devilry and wicked, blah, 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 like, but live a little. And that's what happened to me. I hit my limit within the church. I went as far as I could with the praying and the fasting, and everything that I did living that Christian lifestyle, and shit wasn't getting better. It was getting worse. And the people I went to church with, they were dealing with the same devils in their house that they were dealing with 10 years ago. And they were down at the church getting prayed for every weekend, dealing with the same devils that they were dealing with 10 years ago. And I had to have a wake up in my faith. And it's not to say, it was a bit of a crisis of faith, okay? And I haven't completely abandoned my faith, all right? But my faith evolved to encompass more than this, to say, you know what? There's truth to astrology. The wise men who found Jesus, they knew that. I studied the Bible for myself and said, I'm not going to let these pastors or popes or whomever tell me what I'm reading. I'm going to read and study and decide for myself. But if you're not at that place, you're not ready to do that and find the truth for yourself, or you don't feel comfortable breaking away from groupthink. Oh, you have to have a lot of strength of character to break away from the groupthink that is so prevalent in churches. If you're not there, like, you shouldn't be watching this channel. I said all that to say this. Don't watch this channel. Because I'm not going to sit here and, and not deliver astrology and tarot and talk about that. Because that's my life experience. I'm going to say what I have gained spiritually from astrology. I'd say in just like 2 years, I surpassed what I gained from going to church for 10. Again, I don't regret the 10 years. It had its value. It had its time and place in my life. I think I've got a really good, pretty decent, maybe above average moral compass because of that. But don't get me wrong, what I have learned from astrology, I could not get out of the Bible. I am sorry to say. There were questions that I just couldn't get answers to until I got into the astrology. There were blockages that I hit in my own self-awareness and personal healing until I got into the astrology. And I wish I had gotten into it sooner. But as long as you're surrounded around people telling you that's bullshit, that's not real, or that's the devil, you're going to be stuck in the same damn patterns and wondering why you can't break out of it, no matter how much you pray, no matter how much you fast, no matter how much you go to church and read your Bible. You're going to be sitting there banging your head against that wall like, why? But they told me. I tithed. Why does this keep happening? I prayed. I fasted. Oh, go look at your astrology. Then you'll know. You'll know. Sorry, I'm on a damn rant here. I probably ran Line of Judah off. Which is fine. I mean, like I said from the beginning, you can only... The truth that you have at this point is as much as you can handle. And I'm going to say this again, going back to all the Scorpio themes coming up that we're already in. Happy birthday, Scorpios, by the way. And then with this new moon in Scorpio coming up on the 5th, there is this issue of the truth. The raw truth, the naked truth, hidden things being brought to light. And Leo's saying, I don't really believe in spirituality at all, to be honest, but I still am fascinated by what you're saying. Thank you. And let me say, Leo Oliver, and he's saying, but organized religion scares me. It is a book written thousands of years ago. God was created by man, not the other way around. I get what you're saying. You raise some good points, even if I don't agree. I had a bad experience with religion, lol. A lot of people have had a bad experience with religion, and I kind of understand. I do feel organized religion has been used to mind control people. And the part of me that's into kind of conspiracy theories, I uncovered at one point. I came across some guy who said that he went through seminary school, and he said that all these 0.01%ers who are controlling the planet, these globalists, they've infiltrated the seminary schools, so that what you're being taught in church, what you're being indoctrinated with is, these stories of what, like Romans 13, where, you're passive, you're politically passive, you comply with everything the government says, as if God put these people into power, so you just don't question the authority, and they twist scriptures, they put them out of context, and this is the kind of stuff that is being taught in churches, and it's going all the way through these infiltrated seminary schools. And the same with the astrology. Actually, these 0.01%ers, they use astrology, they use numerology for evil. Absolutely. There's some truth to what Lina Judah is saying, but there's a duality to these things, right? In everything, there's good and bad. And it's kind of like, yeah, I could say there are people out there who use astrology and numerology for evil purposes, but there are good purposes as well. And really, that was a higher use. We got into talking about sex, and we were talking about, right, there's a duality there. There's a higher purpose and use for sexuality, and there's a very low primal carnal use for it. We come across this, right? I used analogies of water and fire. Water, cleanses and purifies and refreshes, but you can also drown in it. It can kill you. Fire can keep you warm, but it can also burn you. I mean, there's a duality to everything we're talking about. And when people come in and say, right, orange man bad, like he's got no good qualities, or fire bad, or water bad, or divination bad, it's just like, come on, that, think outside of your box. There's more going on here. And on the subject of not believing in God or spirituality, if you really feel that, damn, I forget his name. There is a guy who used to think just like that, and he got into psychedelics. I would really encourage you, like, this is bad. I mean, what am I doing? I'm encouraging people to get into psychedelics. God help me. But yeah, he did mushrooms, he did DMT, and right, Joe Rogan has talked about that, and how these people will say you can't do psychedelics really and come out of it maintaining this belief that there's no God. If you do psychedelics, you're going to see into another dimension that we coexist with. And you're going to realize there's more to this matrix than what meets the 3D eye, right? We're living in the 3-dimensional. When you get into psychedelics, you're able to see into the 5th dimension. Same with study quantum physics, right? If you're really scientifically minded, look at quantum physics and the science validating that there is God. There is a creator, whatever you feel comfortable calling, but it's a higher power outside of us. Leo's saying, yeah, orange, okay. Orange man, LO. Yeah, I had to go there. It just came out of left field nowhere. But it's like people are very one-dimensional. Orange man bad. It's very simplistic, simpleton thinking, you know? Leo also says, right, so I'll have to get my hands on some DMT then. Right. Yeah, maybe get yourself clean though. Try to, like sage the place, right? Get you some sage, right? Because I'm gonna sage again. Just keep saging, people. So much, all this energy, right? That's been going on with all this craziness busting loose. Get clear before you do something like that is what I would really advise. Like, if you're not in a good space, from what I hear from the people who've done it, if you're not in a good space, don't do it. You need to get clear within yourself, okay? Like, work through any depression or sadness or anger. Try to get in a good place before you do something like that, because that really kind of screws it up. I had a girlfriend who was dealing with major depressive disorder, and she has never done anything like that, but she started researching about microdosing mushrooms, and that it would, there's scientific studies showing that it helps with depression. So she thought, well, maybe. And so she got some medicinal mushrooms from an Indian reserve. And this stuff was like pure from an Indian reserve, and a reservation, I should say. And she took mushrooms. In fact, she was texting me while she was on it, because I told her, like, don't do that alone. You need to be around somebody when you're doing that. And I was worried about her, but I'm like, I understand, she's desperate to get healed. And so she took the mushrooms, and she said, oh my God, you could see everything. She said, we're like coexisting with an angelic realm here. And in the angelic realm, there's good and evil. It's just like here on this planet. You got good people and bad people, right? A lot of people are, a mix. Some people more good than bad. Some people more bad than good, right? You got some people that are just downright demonic. And that's what she saw on the other side. She saw demons, she saw angels. And so definitely, I don't think you can go through an experience like that and come out of it being an atheist. There are a lot of people, I've heard testimony after testimony of people who are atheists. They do psychedelics. No more. I'm not saying they're going to church next Sunday. I'm not saying they're converting to Christianity, but they come out of it. And there's a guy that I've been following. His name is Leo, actually, oddly. Oh man, that's crazy. I'm talking to a Leo, and this is about a Leo who has a channel, and I'm trying to figure out, like, I haven't watched his channel in so long. After this goes live, I might put it in the comments down below, a link to his channel, or maybe even a video of him talking about his psychedelic experiences and this whole transformation he went through of being an atheist to no longer being an atheist because of how this opened up his mind. And I mean, you could look at Joe Rogan. There's another guy that I follow who's done like psychedelics, DMT. Oh man, what is his name? God, it just escapes me right now. I'll probably pin it in the comments down below after this goes live, so y'all can go watch those channels if you are interested. Like, I've wanted to do psychedelics, because like I have questions. I need answers, you know? Um, but I'm already very empathic, and so I'm really sensitive, and I'm concerned that I'm gonna see stuff that maybe the average person wouldn't see, because I already do. I already see and feel stuff, and so I'm real guarded about it. Like I wouldn't do it with a stranger. Like I have to do that with somebody I trust if I was gonna do it. And I need to be in an emotionally clean place, which I have not been. I have not been in an emotionally clean place, so I'm not doing it. Um, so I've got some comments here. Be kind, good to see you is saying, I was put into a parochial school or parochial school, sorry. They stifle a child's creativity. I believe in a higher power. My goodness, at one time being left handed meant you were a child of the devil. Oh, yes, it's terrible. Um, and I mean, no offense if anybody here is Catholic or comes from a Catholic background, but to me, that's like been the hardest. People who I see that come from this Catholic background, there is a lot of repression. Oh my God, I don't even want to get into that. So much. Like I even studied when I was really steeped into, Christianity, I studied different denominations and histories of denominations, and I even read this really thick book on the history of the Catholic Church. It is freaking crazy. Crazy. Like if the average Catholic had read that book, they wouldn't be Catholic anymore. Trust me. You know, and there's so much repression, and like I said, the people I've known who were brought up like in Catholic school, so many sexual hangups. It's so sad. It's, oh my God. It's really bad. It's sad. It's really what they, I don't know how they do this to people. I'm not exactly sure how they do this, but they know how to mind F people to be so sexually repressed. I'm going to say in all fairness, I've seen this in a lot of other churches as well. Like porn addictions in church are very bad, very bad. And then the whole thing about expecting the virginity and the chastity until you're like 30 years old, my God, you know, or whatever they're expecting out of people, which by the way is not even biblical. I could go on a whole rant about that. Um, you know, that what they're doing is they are encouraging an environment where people have intimacy problems, and they learn to become masters of their own domain, if you know what I mean. Right, again, no judgment. There's a time and place for everything, but I mean, if you're not here to become a master of getting yourself off. Like that's from a spiritual perspective, what I've come to believe is that the main purpose in this school of life spiritually is to learn to love and be loved. And if you find yourself at 30 years old and you do not know how to love and be loved to the fullest expression, there's a problem. You're flunking school, spiritual lessons. This is just my belief, okay? And you see a lot of that. People getting very ingrown, and having intimacy problems, porn addiction. See, here we go back into the Scorpio energy. The conversation went there. I don't know how I'm doing it. It's a flow, people. Just flow with me. Let me look at some other things. Scorpio makes a good point to say we all have a public personality and a home personality. Absolutely. Leo saying I just drink when I'm depressed. never experiment with stuff like that, but I'll try anything once. You sound like me. What is your sign, Leo? Are you an actual Leo, or, because I'm Aquarius, opposite of Leo, and you sound like me. Because I think the same way. I think the same way. And said I'm open to having my mind changed, hence why I'm watching this stream. Very cool. That's awesome. So we have someone here, Axis, saying this is dumb multiple times and I don't care. Yeah, but you do care because you're giving me your attention. So what, like, really, you know, that's ridiculous. If you think it's dumb and you don't care, then why are you watching it? That's really, all right. So do I need mods? Hell yeah, I do. My moderators are gone. I don't know where they went, but it's fine. You want to be a moderator, Leo? I'll make you a moderator. Be kind is saying the nuns were so mean. Absolutely. You know why they're mean? Because they ain't getting any. Yeah. They ain't getting any. That's why they're mean. I'm sorry. Oh. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to help Axis out, and I'm going to hide them from this channel because, see, that's what you need to do. If you don't like something, don't watch it. I don't know what's wrong with people these days. Why can't you just be an adult and keep scrolling or get to the next video? Why do you hop in the chat and say, this is dumb, this is crazy, I don't care? Here we go with, you know, this platform. This is what we get on YouTube. We get this nonsense. All right. So I knocked them out, and let's get back to the quality commentators here. Oh, you're a Virgo. Very cool. Okay. But I know nothing about astrology, as I don't know what that means. LOL. So astrology is the oldest science. It's a study of this planets and stars and aspects, basically, you know, how they impact us collectively and individually, because they're all frequency and we're frequency, and how do their frequencies impact our frequencies? So really, it's a study of that, astrology. Okay, Mr. Ed saying, I was always taught that if I had nothing nice to say nothing at all. I know what happened to those days. Be kind is agreeing. Well said. Oh, T. Witten's here. I made it. I just got home. Oh, awesome, T. Witten. Good to see you. How's it going? How is it going for you? It's good to see some of my, you know, regular people. They got some new faces tonight, which is lovely. But I've had to kick some people out because, you know, apparently they need sex and they're not getting any, and they think that that's a problem that I need to solve for them. Oh, God. Woo! You got another thing coming, honey. Another thing coming. Ain't got it for you here. Next. next and next again. Oh, people are just something. Yeah, well, I mean, I've already been here for like, gosh, over 2 hours. I mean, I feel like I need to get off of here, but I mean, we've got, you know, a good amount of people in and we're having good conversation. So it's like, why end a good thing? But it's like, man, I've been on here for so long and we've talked about a bunch of Scorpio deep stuff. We've talked about sex. We've talked about intimacy. We've talked about sacred sexuality. Um, we've talked about depravity, people bastardizing sex. Ooh, deep stuff. We talked about the energy, you know, because we've been in some crazy energy, and I'm sorry to say it's about to get crazier. And I'll talk more about that hopefully this week, and I'll release a video on the astrology for November. Yeah, God willing, I'll get it out. By the way, side note, part 3 of my series, I have not yet released and I need to release, but I've been so derailed by everything going on in my life, and I am blaming it on this crazy damn full moon in Aries. It was just off the charts. You know, not all full moons are like this, and I wouldn't even say all full moons in Aries are like this. It was just because of you know, there were squares involving this full moon and Mars and Pluto, and it's just like, sweet Jesus. For me, it was a shitstorm, and I had a client come in that was going through a shitstorm, you know, and that could be tied back to the full moon. And so I really felt like I needed to go live tonight to talk to y'all. I wanted to talk to y'all sooner, you know, post that full moon, but it's been really hard on me. I'm going to be honest, because all my Aries aspects were triggered by this. My Juno and Chiron in Aries were triggered by this full moon. And then oddly, you know, 2 Aries suns and a Aries rising were bringing a lot of this triggering stuff into my life. So just a rough ride. It was a rough ride. If I could have talked about it sooner, I would have, but I've been trying to get my bearings. It's been something. So let's see if we have any final comments. Leo saying, I'm all new to this stuff. Well, cool. I mean, maybe you know, subscribe and hit the notifications bell if you want to stay in touch with me, Leo. Because I'll put out more content. Like mostly what I've been putting on here is a lot of self-help relational stuff, and I do talk about narcissism from time to time because I wrote a book on that. But I am going to also be putting up the astrology for next month, and I get into talking about politics as well as relationships. So, and then I go live every so often, and we just have an open forum. And I think that, you know, anybody who listens to me for any length of time knows, yeah, I'm very opinionated by stuff, but I'm also very open-minded. And it's, you know, I'm very much about freedom. I hate blocking people and censoring people, and I'm only going to do that unless they get really like abusive or just not constructive at all. But for the most part, if people want to disagree and they want to put their 2 cents in, oh, I'll talk. Oh, heck yeah. I love a healthy debate. I love a healthy debate. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I like it. So, I mean, it's, you know, open mic when I go live on here. Oh, Leo saying, I know. No, I know what astrology is. I just meant I'm not sure what traits Virgos are supposed to have. I'm new to all this stuff. Well, Virgos are an earth sign. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I'm a Taurus rising, by the way. I do. I'll tell you what I like about Virgos is they're ruled by Mercury. The sign is that rules that, the planet that rules that sign is Mercury. And Mercury is about a lot of thinking and communication. So I'd say, yeah, y'all are the most mercurial sign. And as an air sign myself, who's very into thinking and communicating, I connect with Virgos on that level. I find that Virgos are really good. Probably out of all three earth signs, often skilled communicators, really good at thinking. I think that the gift curse of Virgo is that sometimes y'all can be critical to a point that is destructive. And so your challenge in life is learning how to use that gift without it becoming a curse, right? Being so critical that you're hard on yourself and you tear yourself down. Because y'all have a way of kind of picking the details apart and deconstructing things. And if you don't watch yourself, that can get into a really dark space of nitpicking yourself to death, when really the higher purpose is for Virgos to use that energy to deconstruct and then reconstruct. Yeah, almost like renovating something, making it better than it was before, rather than just doing a demolition, right? So that's my little spiel on Virgos. I really do like Virgos. They're so smart. I mean, to me, the smartest, or at least, verbal about it. Like, I connect with Virgos on that level. I really like them. Leo says, I gave you a sub. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Mr. Ed is saying, good video. I appreciated the insight. Thank you. And I appreciated the conversation, Mr. Ed. Thank you for being a stand-up male here tonight, because we were, for a moment there, it was getting dicey, very much a short supply, and you stepped up at right the just the right moment. I really appreciate that. And T Witness saying, I know I was surprised you were still here. I missed the good stuff. You sure did. Hey, though, I know how you are about this, this intimacy stuff. Okay, so you're probably gonna, if you come back later and you watch this after it fully posts, you're probably gonna put some stuff down in the comments, and that is totally cool. And because T Wit and I are like iron sharpening iron, and that's a biblical verse, right? Where she'll say, yeah, I see your point, but this, but that, and I'll be like, yeah, I see that point, but this over here, and that's cool. This is how we learn and grow. And so, yeah, T Witten, you're probably gonna, maybe if you watch later, I might say some things that make you go, gotta say something about that. And that's cool. That's cool if you comment about it. Leo's saying, I like open, friendly debate. Good. So do I. And T. Witten is agreeing to that point as well. Scorpio Butterfly is saying, I love me some earth sign, preferably a hot jalapeno on a stick. Capricorn. Yeah. The hot jalapeno on the stick is a Capricorn. And I will say this, because we had a Capricorn and a Virgo male watching tonight, and then the female Scorpio. Okay, so just FYI, typically, earth signs and water signs go very well together, very well. And then fire signs, which are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, go very well with air signs, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. So those of you who are new, though, let me kind of say this again. If you're Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Earth, you tend to do well with people who are water signs, like Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Yeah. But just be careful, because you can't just, okay, not to complicate matters even worse, but you can't just go off of sun sign alone, right? Because like for example, I'm an Aquarius sun, air, but in my natal chart, if you look at all the planets as a whole at the time of birth for me in my natal chart, I'm predominantly water. I have more planets in water signs at my time of birth. So yeah, I'm an air sign. That's definitely there. But I got a lot of water in my natal chart. So you got to look at the chart as a whole. But generally speaking, earth and water really well together. Air and fire really well together. Very, very compatible. All right, T. Witten saying, I will leave comments. We have good opposite conversation. Yeah, we do. Absolutely. Well, I think I'm going to sign off on this note. I'm going to wrap it up. I think my daughter might be back from work, so I'm going to visit with her, and I will check in with y'all again later, when we do the next live. I'll put out notifications on my community pages. So, if you want to make sure you get notified of when I'm going to go live again, make sure that you hit the bell for notifications, because subscribing alone won't notify you when I put up content or posts on my community page. Only hitting the bell will. And yeah, I'll get that part 3 out as soon as possible. Okay. Yeah. Y'all have a good night too. All right. Y'all be blessed. Bye-bye.